Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am sharing with you some of the ugliest book covers that I own. Some of these I think are particularly hideous, and you may disagree because you're definitely going to see a theme of some very vintage looking covers that I think are particularly heinous, but I know that some people love vintage covers, so you might actually like some of these. Some of these are not so much like hideous as they are just like disappointing. Like, for example, this cover of Just Ella by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I just think that this leaves so much to be desired. This is kind of a Cinderella retelling, but it's like after everything that happens in the fairy tale that you're familiar with. But I feel like we could have done better with this. The same is true with this, Swallows and Amazons by Arthur Ransom. I actually haven't even read this yet. And I just feel like it's such a boring cover. I feel like the artwork itself is just very lackluster. I just almost dropped a stack of books that's on my lap. But I just, like, you wouldn't want to pick up this book based on this cover, or at least I wouldn't. This one I just think is hilarious, and I'm certain that these are not the original covers for this series, but the Trixie Belden books, like her face, I don't know if I can try to, yeah, look at her face. It's just like terrible. And if you just like, that would be a fun one to recreate, honestly. But the illustrations that are inside of this book look nothing stylistically like the cover at all. Like, she doesn't look the same. She looks a lot younger. And so I'm sure that these were redone. There we go. I'm in focus again. Sorry. I'm sure that these were redone to appeal to another generation, but they no longer appeal to the current generations. The same being true with this cover of The Boxcar Children, which I love. The Boxcar Children. I think that it is just incredible, and I love this book so much. But I feel like look at her face right there. I don't know. It's just like it's so funny to me. So, yeah. Not the best. Actually, I don't think that this one is particularly hideous. I just think it's really cheesy. I don't know what they were thinking with this cover. It's National Velvet. I think that these are definitely supposed to be horses. It's a little different on the back, but they're still horses. But they kind of look like cave drawings of horses to me. Like, they're very like simplistic. And if you were to glance at the cover, you might not even realize that they're horses, especially like this one because it's turned weird. And so I don't know. I think this one is terrible. Here's another one that's super dated, one that I haven't read yet. This is The Paragon, which is written by the same person as A Separate Piece. And I have several of this author's books, and they're all the same kind of cover. But out of the three, this one is the worst. And it's not just because of this guy's face. It's actually even more so because of her. Like, what is she wearing? Like, it's almost like this skin tight, full body leotard moment. But I'm not really sure if that's what it's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be a shirt and pants, but I can't tell because the cover is so monochromatic. The background is really nice. I like the background. We should have done the background without the people. The next one cracks me up. Also super dated. Again, you might love these covers. So I'm sorry if you do. That's Rule Britannia by Daphne du Maurier. And I pulled off the sticker, and so part of it's gone. And I was like, oh no, I can't share this one because her face is partly missing. But the same picture's on the back. So no worries. I can totally still share it with you. Yeah, he's got kind of like a fro going on there, and there's just a lot, and there's fire behind them, and it is just very, very cheesy looking. It does say on the cover that this is her newest bestseller, so this, I'm guessing, was the original cover. There aren't as many classics in this stack, unless some of them are like children's classics and stuff, but a lot of the classics that I own are like, have classical artwork on the cover, and so that makes it a lot more attractive. But this one, maybe this is a classical art kind of thing, but this is a really common cover too. and I've never heard anyone else complain about it, but I think that this cover of Notes from the Underground is just hideous. Like, I know that this is supposed to like express like kind of his insanity, the fever dreamness of all of this, but I just I just can't get over it. I think it's so ugly. I've actually heard some people say that they love that I have like the vintage covers of like Robin Hobb books. And I think that like really old fantasy covers are really like cheesy looking. I'm not a fan of them in general. And I think that, you know, future people looking back at like fantasy covers now are going to be like, they're all the same, they all look terrible. And so realize that this is subjective. I don't mind most of the Robin Hobb covers that I have. I think I have 4 of her books. But this first one just like really gets me of Assassin's Apprentice. So, I mean, yeah, is that in focus? I think it is. Try not to get the glare on it. Like, I don't even like, this is one of the worst covers that I own. I think that it's just like so terrible looking. I have a lot of classic Agatha Christie like paperbacks that have the sprayed edges, and I don't even know how much were they sold for. Like 75 cents on the cover of this one. I don't know if the other one has like a price on it. But they're quite old, published in like the 50s and the 60s. And some of them are worse than others. So I've picked the worst 2 to show you. So there's this one. And this one, I just like this tells you absolutely nothing. You know, you've got a hand, you've got some beads, you've got some cards, you've got like, is that powder in the palm? Like, is it sugar? Is it something else? Like, what is that? Like, it tells you absolutely nothing about the story. It doesn't give you a vibe for what's happening here. This one just cracks me up. I think it's hilarious. I kind of love this cover. Um, and it's Dead Man's Folly. Like, I just I think she's dead, but you know, who knows? I just think it's a really, really funny one. Along with this Willa Cather one, which I love this short story collection. I liked all the short stories in this except like one was okay, but the rest were phenomenal. And it's her 5 stories collection. And I just like, I have a bunch of her books in this edition, and all of them are kind of this art style that looks kind of like colored pencils, like very fine lines and all that kind of stuff. And I don't mind most of them. Most of them are fine. But like these giant sunflowers and his face, and I just like, I don't know. For example, like this is another one that's like the exact same edition, but this one's not nearly as bad. This one, it's just, I don't understand. We're down to the last 2, which I think are the 2 ugliest. Some of these I love for how ugly they are. Like, I would never get rid of them and replace them with a different edition because I think it's so fun how they look. These ones I would replace with different editions. So the first one is Johnny Tremaine. Excellent book. Highly recommend, about a young boy during the Revolutionary War. And if you look at it from afar, maybe it's not so bad. You know, you kind of see a town, you see a boy, but like the closer you get to it, the more kind of like off-putting this art style is to me. And you might disagree, but I feel like he just, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. And the last one, when I got this book and my husband saw it, he went like, whoa, because of the person on the cover of it. I haven't even read this book yet. It's an E.M. Forster book, Where Angels Fear to Tread. I don't even know what it's about, but I got it like super cheap, and I just, like, this woman, like, look at her eyes. She's like staring into your soul. Not in a good way. And I don't even know like what time period this is supposed to take place where this would be the kind of like makeup that you would see. Or maybe she just has like really bad dark circles around her eyes. I don't know. But like her face kind of like low-key haunts me a little bit. Well, those are some of my more hideous book covers. Some of them, like I said, some of them aren't so bad. They just kind of like, they could have done better. Like, and some of them I think are really hideous. A lot of them are super dated, and that's why I think they're hideous. I could have maybe some better like recent ones, because I have seen some ugly book covers that are more modern books, but I don't read them or own them. There's like I've seen a lot of historical fiction and a lot of Christian fiction that have like really cheesy, not great covers, and I could probably have shared some of those, except I don't own them. The disadvantage of owning so much classic literature is that you have like a lot of options of editions and covers to choose from. And so I will typically choose an edition that has a cover that is a little bit more palatable for me, that is usually like a piece of artwork. Usually they're not as bad. And so I think that that's why I don't have like more modern covers. But I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you a fan of like the vintage covers that are kind of ugly? Do you think that they're not ugly, or do you just like them for their vintage appeal? Or do you agree that these are some ugly covers? I would love to know which one you think is actually the worst out of these. We might disagree. You might not think it's the E.M. Forster one. I just like, sometimes I just occasionally think about the cover of that book. And it haunts me a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.